How doing? It's Luke. Welcome to day 101 of being a full-time YouTuber, I suppose. I prefer the name entrepreneur, but whatever. So, what are we working with now? We're at about 65k subs on YouTube, 56 members on School, and we have one paying customer for our SaaS. So, how are we actually doing finances wise? So far this month, we are about 4.8k in agreed deals, and in payments, which gonna come later and minus some other fees and whatever, and ones that get abandoned, we're at like 3.1k, something like that. So, I mean, all right so far. If we consider this in the perspective, if you're watching this, that maybe in America this would be bad. I don't know. In the UK, right? In the UK, which is where I live, my previous salary would have been something like $70,000, maybe something like that. Which over 12, oh man, I need to do more maths. I don't know. We'll say like 5.8k, something like that per month. So to replace my salary, we kind of need to get there. Which this month it looks like we'll actually get there on agreed, which will be cool. To replace my salary. But anyway, how is it actually going? Where is this money coming from? That's kind of what we're going to talk about today, and how we're going to try to move and optimize and stuff going forward. Because it's one of those weird things on YouTube where sometimes on YouTube you look like you're doing great, but up in here you're not. And I'm going to talk about that too. So, first of all, where is this money coming from? For if someone's watching and they want to do the same thing. So sponsored videos, basically, right? Sponsors. I made a deal kind of with myself about little over a year ago, where I just thought I'll lean into sponsors. Because the problem with YouTube is if you only focus on what you like, if what you want is to make money, not just to do what you like because you don't know what you like me, then you lean into what are you going to get paid to do because you want to be a YouTuber. Once I'm a YouTuber, I'll then figure it out from there. So we've leaned into sponsored videos. Sponsored videos is probably right now about 80% of our income, or probably maybe slightly less, maybe more like 70% sponsors. And then if we go, I guess I could erase that. About 70% sponsors, and then we're probably 10% AdSense. And then what's that, 80? So then about 20% School, maybe something like that. So the problem here, AdSense stuff is related to videos that go viral. Sponsors is related to videos that go well, but also you're relying on making videos about stuff even if you're not super interested in it. And School is one of those things where I'm finding it hard to convert from YouTube into School because making YouTube videos for sponsors is my job, so I then have to make other videos too, and I need to make sure the sponsored videos align with the direction we want to go for School. So it's really, I'm finding it actually a really difficult time at the moment. And right now it might seem fine, and I kind of, I've come to some peace in my mind today, but yesterday and even earlier today I was kind of freaking out. So yeah, anyway, so that's how we're making our sponsored videos and stuff. For money, for actual like stuff here that's going on. So school members, it was going, I'll go and show you the real data in a minute, but basically it was kind of going like this, the number of members, or I guess straight actually, and then it kind of went like this. And I think I know why. I spoke about it in the last video, which was basically until this point, so we'll say probably here. So here I had no co-work, it was only Claude Code I was talking about. Here it was both Claude Cowork and Claude Code. Here I removed Cowork, but I then ran a newsletter promotion. And then since then I've then changed to be like fully all about coding, and suddenly it's stagnated. And so that's because the kind of discoverability is just not really in my favour at the moment. And I'll go and show you. Or I guess I already have School open. So let's go have a look at School. So basically, inside of School, we come here, Discovery, or Dashboard, it's in Dashboard. So Dashboard, we have 450 MRR, which sounds alright. 56 members, as you can see here, 39 last month. Some of these members, 8 of them, these are from when I used to run the community like a year ago. Retention seems high. I don't know why, because I've had people leave. I don't know. That's weird. But anyway, if we look down here at like the conversion rate, so the conversion rate was going good, and then it just started to kind of fizzle out here. Now here it actually has picked back to being not as bad as it was going, but you can imagine on this day, and even the first half of that day, it was 1, 2, 3, and about days of 0, which is not good. So most of this, the problem I've found is because of the sign-ups coming from a school network. So if we go to members here, see, join directly. If you go to questions, they found us from YouTube. And interestingly, Bertrand was it previously a member, like a year ago, which is pretty interesting. Join from YouTube, join from Google. Let's get what we're saying. YouTube. So they're all coming right now from YouTube, right? But back when I just started, they were literally all coming from School Network. Why? How does this work, etc.? Well, they're changing stuff, but I think generally is that when you're active in your community and in other people's communities, you get like a boost up. So I need to do more of that again. So like, number one for school is we need to be active on some communities and some other communities. So me and others. And the reason I've not been so active recently is actually because I kind of lost faith in my school. So the problem I keep having, I'm a member of, where's Growth Evelyn? Hey, she's rebranded. Nice. So I was a member of Growth Evelyn. I had completed the which one? Relaunch Challenge. She has rebranded. Relaunch Challenge, and this really helped me so much. It changed my mind from being like, I am a course creator and I'm trying to sell a course creation thing, to just being like a, I am a personal brand on a journey. And that you join for some tiny little price, like $9 a month or $7 a month, just to be part of this journey. And then I'll start to build out my courses properly relative to what people want. So this was the idea. But then I'm noticing, right, the more people join, I'm starting to get that thing where I'm like, what am I? Who am I? What is the point in this community? What am I trying to teach? And I've fallen back down the rabbit hole of like, I need an avatar, I need to fulfill it, blah, blah, blah. But the problem is when I try to copy other people, then they're all AI agency. And when I try to then do my own thing and service my members, half of my members are like, we don't know what ChatGPT is. And these are the people that are coming directly from school. Then the other half are people coming from YouTube and stuff, and they're like semi-technical. So then I'm like, what's the starting point for them? And where do they try to go? What is the goal? So then we end up now, we've got this entire mishmash problem that I've created for myself, where I have this 5-day Claude challenge for complete beginners. We have a 5-day automation sprint that was the first challenge for beginners, but it's not as good. We have Arc, which is my new like command center operating system I was trying to make. Claude Code Masterclass, which I think is solid, standard, needs to be in here. Maybe needs to be redone though. Project Vault, this is a new one I'm adding, where I was going to add in all of these applications that I've started making using Claude Code, because my idea was plug and play apps. Like SaaS is dead, make your own apps, here's some of mine, plug and play them into Arc. That was the idea. But the problem is that's like, I don't really know if it's becoming a reality as such. Build and ship your SaaS, and then we have these use cases and resources which we ought to really draft, and we've drafted co-work. So if we go through, because this is just, like live business development, I guess, is from basically, let me think, we started school again. So 0 here, we started being like, I'm, learning how to kind of automate, right, with Claude. And so that meant Claude Code and Claude Co-work. We then started getting people in, so we'll go to 1 here. And when we get to 1, Let me see here. I'm kind of losing track of how to even draw this out. So automate kind of with Claude Code. Then we got to 1 and it became more like, Claude Code itself. So also this at 0 was kind of SaaS. It was everything, basically. I'm trying to learn automation and stuff with Claude Code. Everything Claude. Oh. So 0. This was 0. Then the next one was kind of like automation with Claude. So this included co-work. Then it went straight into code because I realised I don't really like co-work. I don't really use it. So I'm back into code here. Then code became like plug and play apps. And then also here, I'm doing, like, whilst this is going on, I'm doing sponsored videos. And these are on, like, the latest kind of tools and stuff, so like OpenClaw. And then I'm thinking I need to stay on top of stuff. Hermes, that kind of stuff. Then I'm also thinking at the same time, I'm like, really do need to do like an AI assistant or an AI employee type of thing? Oh, come on. The pen, if I could press the button on the side of this pen by accident, it messes it up. AI assistant is kind of something I want to do. So anyway, I'm back right round to this same problem where I'm everything to everyone. But I'd found Eric Tech. So Eric Tech's like a kind of competitor-ish of mine. And he has a skill community. So let me go and show you. Boom. So he has his skill community here. And I'm thinking, why don't I just do something similar to this? Keep it low ticket and just do like, materials, live calls, support, that kind of stuff. And then just focus on my YouTube videos. Because the problem that I keep running into is I'm trying to turn school into a business when my entire business is YouTube videos. This is my business. So then I'm trying to turn school into the business, and then I'm trying to change my YouTube to get people to join school, but I don't really know what this business is yet. I don't know exactly what kind of YouTube videos I make. I just make stuff about AI that I find interesting. And I keep falling into this pit of I need to be the X guy, right? Something. I need to be the guy of something. Claude Code guy. Claude Apps guy. Like, I need this crazy idea of, like, a massive empire idea. And then I need to find that in my brain and then go towards it. So I keep having this problem that I keep falling into. And so the current solution that I can see possibly is like, if you want to learn AI from, whatever, me, a full-time YouTuber, an AI YouTuber, whatever my background is, then join school. And inside the school, we'll just have everything. My AI basics, my Claude Code stuff, my OpenClaw, maybe something on that, files from videos or whatever, this kind of thing, and just do it whenever I want to learn something. I just make a little modular course on it. Like right now I'm really interested on MCP, how it actually works, because I never really looked into it. So like there's still some bits I'm not sure about. I'm like, maybe I should make a little video on it and then include it into like AI basics or something. So I'm like, should I do this? But then the problem I think if I do is last time when we had done this, the other guy, Mark was a cloud architect. He joined kind of not knowing much about AI from a data engineering video into school, which at the time was called Applied AI, then rebranded to Automation Pro. And at the time he was kind of like, he was loving the course, thought it was really good. But then after he'd completed what is AI, tokens, this kind of stuff, RAG, how does it work? Suddenly then he's like, well, if you really want to make money here, you need to move down into something. Whether that's NAN or vibe coding or enterprise, tools, security, something. And I'm kind of keep coming back to this problem in my mind of, so where do we come to? What do we do next? And so then I'm trying to analyse myself. What do I do? What do I like to do? And the main thing I like to do is just make my YouTube videos. The problem with just making them though is I feel like I need to have a real business or I'm not a real business guy, or I'm not going to scale and make real money. It feels, I suppose, if I'm being, because I'm trying to learn to be brutally honest with myself. If I'm trying to be brutally honest with myself, I would think maybe it's because I'm scared of trying to really make it on YouTube and it doesn't work out, and or the weird kind of popularity fame side of being a YouTuber is something that maybe I'm a little bit apprehensive of. I don't know, I'm just spitballing, trying to think. Because I just keep self-sabotaging. And I feel like I keep self-sabotaging because I have no clear direction. And part of that too is because I would normally go on YouTube, scan YouTube, right? I'd then look at like maybe some AI news, maybe. Now I have my website, techlight.com. I would do that, right? Check that one out because it's my website. I don't make any money from it. It doesn't take any data. It literally is just this. Boom. And it just tells you what happened, and that's it. And so every morning you get an email with like top 10 stories from AI tech, quantum robotics, etc. Just like that. Bam, that's you. So I like this news thing. I like creating things like this. That's cool. But then I don't really know how to monetize them, and that's the problem that I keep coming back to with it. So then I'm like, do I just teach people how to build stuff? And I'm like, maybe, but then people want to make money because even I'm in that stage now where I'm like, I just keep building stuff, but maybe I should make money. I don't know. But there is something to be said for knowing all of the AI tools that are out there and which is best and what does what. This is something I'm starting to learn. That is really important. Because when I was in the mix, everyone I knew or watched, they were all in the mix. So you didn't feel like you knew much. But now, I'm realising you do. So anyway, I'd come here, find something, I'd be like, I like this, like this, like this. I'd be like, I'm going to take that video, I'm going to redo it in my voice with my opinions. So whatever it is. Claude, I don't know, something. Claude something. Then I'd be like, I'm going to make that video. And then I'd make a similar video. Now, the thing here is that then, when you're creating a back end, so say school, you go and see what are they creating, and you're like, right, this is like a proven demand, let's try to recreate something similar. But then the problem is you start falling into loads of problems. So like, what's the avatar? Who, like, do you have the same skills and stuff as the person who is actually making this video? If you're just kind of copying-ish different videos that you find interesting, then these guys all have different back ends. So then what are you gonna do? Which back end are you gonna copy, for want of a better phrase? So yeah, and let me think, because I've kind of completely lost myself here in this massive thing. So basically we'll just try to think of where we're going next, aren't we? So if I think of this here, where are we going next? Was that this size? Yeah. I just completely dropped the ball there, man, and my brain's disappeared. So anyway, I'm thinking this kind of Eric Tech direction could be the right direction. It's kind of like there's another guy, Income Stream Surfers, but he has a SaaS and an agency as well. So I guess we talked briefly about my SaaS. My SaaS is scripty, and the idea was to write AI generated scripts. But the problem I find is I don't read from scripts, I read from kind of outlines. I just like to know what are people doing, what are they talking about, etc. But I need to start using it more, I think, because YouTube videos, the view retention and the hooks and stuff, I don't have any systems. I just kind of do stuff. And I like to just do stuff, but it's unreliable for whether it's going to perform well or not, which is why I wanted to learn more about, this kind of stuff. But I'm always at odds between these two things of like preparation and action, and I think everyone is. But I used to spend my entire life in preparation. Then I moved into my entire life was action. And the thing with action is action then gave me success. Preparation has never given me success in my entire life, ever. The only time preparation has given me success is like the 2 hours before an exam, But in real life, with business, when you're at zero, preparation does not matter at all. Sure, prepare for meetings, prepare for whatever, right? But you know what I mean? Don't sit and try and scale out and strategize. Where am I going? Blah, blah, blah. Just do the thing. Do the thing you want to do. For example, for me, YouTube videos, it was like, instead of thinking, who am I, where am I going, it was just like, I'm going to make a video today. Boom, video's done. And then I didn't have any time. I went straight to bed, had work the next day. Then it was boom, next video. Boom, next video. Then it's like, I want to teach people how to make stuff with AI, so I made Applied AI. Then it was like, I want to teach people about the latest in the AI tools and automation and NA10, so it became Automation Pro. And now it's restarted as Build with Look because I, was enjoying building. But yeah, that was a problem with. There's everybody back. With the Build with Look. The problem that can arise here is now I've built a bunch of stuff, but I keep never finishing it. And I'm thinking, like, is SaaS dead? Do I become the SaaS is dead guy? Do I then just teach people how to build? But is this actually pointless? Do I just keep following stuff that I find interesting and hope people just come along for the ride? Basically, I don't know. So, this is kind of throwing me for a spin, and I need to sit and think. I think. But basically, my kind of ending on where I'm going to go is, should we SaaS, plug and play little SaaS applications, Arc, basically an AI IDE in some way? Or do I just follow my interests and just make modules based on the interests and stuff? Or do I just keep building my own stuff and have like a portfolio of applications? But then what do you do next? And that's the problem I keep falling always into. Is build. I love to build. But then it's like, now we have a bunch of websites which equal no money. What do we do next? And that's the problem I'm in, I think. Is that the thing that I find interesting is just building for the love of the build. Just like, that looks cool. It's gone from nothing to something. But what's gotten me this far, really, like the videos that continually do well, etc., are like, an Azure masterclass, or whatever it's called. AZ 900, 100, I don't know. Fundamentals. Data engineering tutorials. Facts like that. But then you do need to use the tools by building to then know stuff, to teach stuff. I don't know. I don't know. And then the problem too is we keep leaning directly into sponsors so that we can make the sponsor money. And our rates have gone up because our average rate for like a sponsored video, just for full transparency, why not? Sponsored rates are kind of like this. And it depends on how many subscribers you have. So what I've noticed is recently my rates have kind of gone up to the $500 or $600 consistently, because different places try to hit you with different prices. But this is where I'm seeing people are converging around the 500-ish mark, which is good, because even just like 3 or 4 months ago, like, unless it was something highly specific, highly technical, where I was working with the person, you have that range. So you have like very technical and you have not technical, and the high technical is normally a higher price, and low technical is a lower price. And this is something, again, I'm realising. My audience are more technical. Sponsored videos that are technical have more money. So yeah, I mean, we just need to lean, I guess, then into the kind of technical-ish side of things, as opposed to anything else. So real building. And I think that, honestly, I should probably just focus on what it is that I do like to do, which is build, and just keep it, lowish ticket. Just be like, listen, I'll teach you how to build stuff for a lowish price, maybe. But then I think I'll fall into the problem of, I think from people's perspectives of my perspective. So I think from the knowledge that I have. So why would I join a community to learn how to build an app? I'd want to join a community to learn how to build a successful app that's going to make me money. Or I just keep building stuff that I think's cool, that help me run my business, and that I just think's cool generally, like websites. Make videos on how to do them, and then try to maybe turn those videos, all the files, into stuff inside a classroom and just think of school as the community of people who like to build stuff. But then suddenly my brain goes to, oh, so what, you try to be the number one vibe coding place in the world? Which was something I found aspirational or inspirational. I don't know. From a guy, Bridgemind. You may know Bridgemind, you may not. But yeah, I really like what Bridgemind, this guy, is doing. I was going to say they, because it's kind of a company. But yeah, he live streams every day, so I thought maybe I'd doing something like that. So we'll go to a live. Every day he's trying to vibe code his app until he makes, a ton of money. So I was thinking maybe we should do something like that and focus on Scripty or something, but I don't know. I don't really know if this is us. If this is our vibe. So let me think. If we try and round up a little bit. So I want to lean into more technical probably. Or at least tech kind of for beginners maybe. So people who are like tech interested. And from there, that's our content. So people who kind of know about tech. But then that, I'm like, who's the avatar? Well, that's why I normally like to explain stuff from like zero. Because then I can just assume if you don't know it, then, I'll tell you. And if you do know it, then just don't listen to this one sentence type of thing. But yeah, I think it should just be Learn AI, really. Learn AI, the slightly techie version. Or else, like, this is verbose, but Learn AI when you know you're going to need to learn some tech. Learn AI and some tech to build real apps. I think something like this could be like a good kind of motto or North Star. I don't know. Something maybe like that. I mean, the other side of it as well is just that it's a personal brand. And that because it's a personal brand, it's just my stuff. So it's like, join my AI community to talk about the latest without being drowned like X. Get my actual advice and support. Then get my courses. Get my courses on AI. And then I can just start kind of going back into what it is that I find interesting, which is, everything. A Claude Code course, a Codex course, OpenClaw, just focus on one or two things at a time, whatever's kind of popping off. Because I'm noticing my competition are all agency, stuff like that. So that's one option. I think another option is that we lean more into Scripty, use it a bunch in the videos that we're doing, and then try to actually promote it. The only thing is that I think for videos, you really would need to move into the YouTuber niche, or like have a channel about it, or you need to put a lot of money up front for ads. And what was the other thing I was going to say? Courses on AI, agency. Yeah, all the other thing that I've been seeing people do, man, is everyone's AI agency. And I'm like, did I just bite the bullet and just make an AI agency? Or an AI operating system I keep seeing people talk about as well. But as you can see, I'm just drowning in information. And I always feel behind. And that's kind of problematic, especially when you have like essentially a wife, long-term partner, and 2 kids. It's hard to just continually try to keep up on top of everything and feel like you can see that everyone's moving away because you're not focusing on something. But the AI agency guys, they're all moving into AI operating systems because an AI operating system is essentially the next stage of the workflows. But then the thing that you need to always remind yourself is like, sure, this is the sexy YouTube term, but workflows aren't even in most businesses. So that opportunity still exists. And funnily enough, actually, I reached out to a local CrossFit gym, and I was like, I've made you, a website. Do you want it? And they were like, yeah, let's talk about it. And I'm like, I actually don't know if I want to make a website and become a website designer guy, which again is the problem of me thinking I'm going to be this guy. So I'm like, should I make websites? Do I want to be the website guy? I don't know. How much do I charge? Do I want to overcharge, undercharge? Because if I make a YouTube video for say $600 and say it takes me, 4 hours or something, then suddenly it's like 600 over 4 is whatever that is, 15 times 4. Yeah. No, wait. 2. My brain has just completely disappeared. 125. 150. Yeah, 150. So I'm like $150 an hour. So then even if it's a cheap website, but it takes me like 2 hours to work, 1 hour for consulting, 2 hours to work, 1 hour for consulting, that's like $450 USD, which is, something like £300. And then if I was to, do an hour's work a month on it, it'd be another like 100 a month. That seems a bit steep for people. And then just that overhead, when I'm hoping, like honestly, the goal is like, to be making 10k a month. For sure. Like in the next 6 months. But ideally in like the next 2. Because the actual real goal is like, 100 grand a month or something crazy. So then I'm like, do I really want to be worrying about this? Or I guess what we could do is try to reframe it. Because I'm trying to think of how could it, because I would like to actually to make real money by providing real value for businesses, which is another problem inside my school. I have real businesses who want real automations. So I'm like, should I actually be focusing my time on them as opposed to trying to go a different direction? It's something I'm weighing up. But here, I know a possible idea I guess we could do is like make the initial site, host it for some like flat fee, of, as I was saying, like $450 or something. And then, or maybe up the price, so maybe just do like a $600 flat fee or something, I don't know, £400, something like that. And then just teach them Claude plus hosting, just like how it works. And if they don't want to do that, then just charge some sort of like, what is the terminology that you do, is like nominal fee or something, or something like $100 or $70 $100 or something. I don't know, because this could be a good way to go, because I don't want to run the site. That's kind of the thing I mean, and I want to make the site. I want them to be like, wow, that's amazing, let me get it, then give them it, and then just document it well and give them, this, like, teach them this is how you can, modify little things. I think that could be a better way to do it. But then the problem is they still would probably want some tech support at some point. So how would you then provide that? And I know it's another business all on its own, but we literally have someone in our inbox, maybe a bit late now, but who wanted it. So I know it's something out there. Then also had another guy, client technically, that I'm working on a website for as well. So yeah, there's that. But yeah, inside I think as well with school, from who we have so far, we have real people, we have real businesses, and they kind of want to learn Claude Code. But the problem I'm noticing with these people inside the school is that they want to learn it, but they say they don't have the time, so they don't learn it. which is why you hire a consultant to do it and to fix it, do it, whatever, actually do the implementation and then to maintain it. Like, there's a reason you do this, and it's because you don't have the time, effort, energy, interest to actually do it. So, either one of two things here is that inside of school, we have real people. All these are target audience, real businesses. Because they might not be, but they are here already inside the school. So, should we upsell them so we can try and learn consulting and stuff? Like, in this context, because I was a senior Azure consultant, but in the AI context, should we upsell to try to give them real consulting advice? Should we just figure out how to actually teach companies how to do it? It's like small businesses. Or is it entrepreneurs? Entrepreneurs. Or entrepreneurs, is this our actual target audience? But then the problem here is, for real businesses, you can teach them automation. For entrepreneurs, you can teach them automation and how to build things. But the problem is, they also want to know how to sell them. I think I just hit the jackpot here. Builders, they don't really want automation. They want to build and sell, kinda, maybe. But that's not the reason they're joining, to learn from you how to sell. So let me redraw this out so I can actually think, because I think we might have hit what, like the segmentations, the customer segmentations or client segmentations or whatever, market segmentations. Something segmentations, entrepreneurs and builders. I guess real businesses here, you can teach how to actually do this. Entrepreneurs, you can teach how to do this. Builders, you can teach how to do this. Real businesses, you don't need to teach them how to sell. I have a real business, so I know real implementations that will work. Builders, sell, maybe. Let me move this around. Sell, maybe. Am I a builder? Yes. Entrepreneur, do they need to know how to sell? Yes. Have I been one? Yes, I am one. But I've not lost the art of selling, but I'm not really into that anymore. So I guess everyone's just come in and they now need me. It's just a bad point to end this, because I feel like I'm right at the answer. But I think it's really trying to figure out from these three, who am I trying to target? Entrepreneurs here, really, they're trying to make money. That's all it is. And so that's why AI agency people are here. Builders are all about the tech. They want to know the latest models, etc., etc. I think this is who I probably appeal to the most. I think this is who I would be most aligned with a side of being an entrepreneur, and least like a real business. Now, real business, this is your co-work crowd. I feel like we're probably less like this. I feel like out of all of these, we're capturing, we're capturing real business people from SEO or whatever inside of school. But I don't think I'm targeting them at all on YouTube. Entrepreneurs and builders, I think, is who we are getting for YouTube. Let me scroll this out. I think entrepreneurs and builders are who we are getting on YouTube. I think if we were to then laser into entrepreneurs and builders, the value proposition here is, for entrepreneurs, the value proposition is always money. For builders, the value proposition is always finished product. How to build this thing. And to what end? Interests, money also, and we'll do 3 here, 4, 5. Do 2 here. Interests, money, and cool. It's cool. I guess that's also interest. And so from all of this, I think we align most to builders, but entrepreneurs I think can be sold to better. So I think entrepreneurs probably have a higher value, LTV, and builders probably have a lower LTV. But then we have to think of, between entrepreneurs and builders, builders, who could I actually make videos for and give value to willingly and consistently. Because as they say, like in fitness, the best diet is the one you stick to, not the scientific one. And I think based on here, I think there is an overlap between entrepreneurs and builders. And I think if we think of entrepreneurs as this entire segment and builders as being like a segment of this, because I think ultimately all builders would like their build stuff they built to make money, then builders are some part of entrepreneurship, and the other part here is sales, and then the other parts are like ops and scaling, I guess. And so then it's, how do we frame this for entrepreneurs? And for entrepreneurs, it's all about making money. So really then it's like, should we try to sell some workflows or something? Or do we just focus on what we're enjoying and doing, which is building stuff, and just show people how to build stuff? And then I think also the build stuff then becomes the entrepreneur stuff. And I think if I'm feeling anxious about the idea of selling stuff, loads of entrepreneurs will be too. Like about going face to face with a client on Zoom that you've never met before and trying to sell them AI services. From zero for me right now, I'd be like, I don't really want to do it. For a couple of things, time, anxiety maybe. I don't know. Just try to be brutally honest. And so, if you could be a builder who sells using only AI, that's kind of the dream. Or, sells without having to call people. And so the thing, for this would be a course on, zero to builder, i.e. vibe coding. And I think that's honestly a good place to start. And I do think a way for us to market this would be recreating SaaS products. Vibe coding. Anyway, I think that's where we'll leave it today. It's enough for me to digest and take away. Let me know in the comments what you think below, and I'll see you in the next video.